Another episode of The Ordinary Fisherman at the local bait shop in Tower, Minnesota. Always support your local bait shops. And I'm going to challenge myself in this episode to use a topwater that I've never used before. They're calling this the Jitterbug. And I'm kind of partial to the frog-looking colors, but it's got that plate there in the front of the lip that will make it wobble back and forth. I think we're going to give this a go. It's all about spot placement and accuracy and understanding the right kind of habitat that bass kind of hang in. And so once you are on the water and you start learning what they're related to, then you can start getting on them. And I hope to illustrate today that it's more about that than it is about the lure. I'm going to give the old Jitterbug a try. It's a late summer topwater episode on Lake Vermilion. This is The Ordinary Fisherman, and it starts right now. Wet. It's pretty wet. All right. Made it to the shoreline that I'm gonna fish this morning. Of course, it's a little bit later than I had hoped. What else is new? It says it's the bait of champions. This is not a sponsored video. This is a lure made by Arbogast. It's called the Jitterbug. And we're gonna give this a whirl all day, unless I lose it. So, I have never used this style before. I know this style is not new, right? It's been around for a long time. It's probably maybe even considered a classic. And it's just gonna be a wobbling style, right? You put it in the water and it's just gonna wobble with that big mouth, versus the popper style that I like to use a lot, or mostly. There we go. I accidentally broke the snap on there that I had to pause, retie. What was I saying? Right. What I hope to show today is that it's more about what you know, not the tools you use. Never really talked about that philosophy of the ordinary fisherman much. That us ordinary fishermen kind of just need to use the tools we can afford. From there, you put time on the water. If you don't know fish patterns and you don't know what they're eating ultimately, then you're gonna have a hard time finding them and catching them. Find them first. Use lures you're comfortable with so you can grow in confidence in catching them. And then lean on your knowledge on days like today when you're like, I'm gonna make myself use a new lure. I like to use 6.5 foot. This is a medium action rod. What I like about this shorter rod is I'm really accurate with it. I can hit the spots that I want to hit. Bass in the summertime are spread out generally, and especially in a lake like Vermilion, where there is a plethora of food in this lake. They've got so many different kinds of minnows to chase out deep, and a lot of bass like to do that. But then there's a whole bunch of crayfish shallow, and plenty of minnows that stay near the shore too. So my experience in the summer is there's always resident bass living in the shallows. And then from there, it's what structure? Rocks, docks, reeds, right? Sometimes it's a combination of the two. Sometimes it's just one. And I'm always targeting any one of those three first to see what they are relating to on that particular day as far as what they're eating. So that's my general philosophy when it comes to topwater bass fishing. And I am so convinced that that knowledge is more important than the lure that I'm going to sacrifice the lures I'm comfortable with this morning with a new one to see if it can play out so positively that I make it an episode. Let's quit talking. Let's get fishing. My goodness. Having all kinds of issues with my button to start the camera. I even missed a couple of fish hits. I had a fish on for a while and I lost it. And the camera wasn't on. Just talking to myself. I guess technically I'm talking to myself even with the camera on. But just silly goose. Yeah, I had like a 50-yard stretch there where I had 3 great bites. So that's encouraging. Oh, there we go. Oh! Maybe I'll get another chance at him since he kind of completely missed. I don't know if I'm just not used to this lure, if that's what's going on, or it's just going to be one of those kind of mornings. Yeah, you know, this is late August. Probably literally the last 2 weeks of our summer. And I'm catching these fish before they transition into their fall patterns. For as much as I was talking earlier about how there's always resident bass shallow all summer, when fall hits, man, they migrate out deeper. And that's usually in September sometime. So I was, really confident that they're still in their summer patterns. Still got 72-ish degrees of water. And so far it's playing out that way where I've had 4 strikes already on the shoreline. Let's get one in the boat. Come on, let's get one in the boat. I want to blame everything else but me. That's what I want to do. It's everyone else's fault. Everything else's fault but my fault. I don't know. This spot here with the tree, and there's a small rock face and boulders below, feels like a bass should be in. Stinker. Right there. Right there. Yeah. Right where it's supposed to be. Oh, it's not a big one, but it's gonna come in the boat. Finally. Oh, yeah, it's not too bad. Funny how they get bigger as they get closer to the boat. Net worthy, I think. He's making the rounds. Hey there. How you doing? It's a good morning to be out kayaking in nature, huh? Yeah. This guy is trying to come in, but he's not making it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's a good one. That's the size we like to see. All right. We had a little audience there. There's the first bass in the boat. And he's a good one with the jitterbug. Ooh. I'm going to guess 17. He could be 17 and a half if I really wanted to measure it. Well done. Thank you. I thought he was going to end up being a 14 when I first saw him. Mwah. All right. So again, he was right where you'd hope he was, around boulders, and in this case, it wasn't necessarily reeds. It was a bunch of branches from a tree. That is my 6th strike of the day. Like, this should be a fantastic morning with 6 fish in the boat, but it's only 1 fish. So what can you do? We'll say it's my acclimation to this lure and my overexcitement when the fish bite. Missed the strike, but oh, I wasn't expecting a fish there. Oh, there's a good one. This might be another 17. Oh, thanks, buddy. I was just skirting some of these reeds, getting ready to kind of get in this pocket over here. And he hit it. He smacked it. Come here. This one's a netter. Come on, buddy. Maybe he's a little bigger than I think. Definitely in that same class of the fish that I got in the boat here 20 minutes ago. Different spot, but following the reeds now, the reed pattern. All right, all right. Are we hooked well enough, or are we going to get you in? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Do we have our first 18 of the day? Huh? Maybe? Look at that guy. I'm going to try to square myself up a little better. That's what I'm talking about right there now. Yeah, buddy. If I thought I could hit the 18, I'd put him on the bump, but that's probably 17 and a half. Nice and fat. Thank you. Lake Vermilion bass. Off you go. Oh, man. That gets the juices going. Oh, there's a big one. Oh, it looked like a big one. Get out of those weeds. Don't get tangled in there. Please, please don't get tangled in there. Come on out of 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 there. Come on out. Come on out. I wonder if it's going to be the smallest one of the day. After I go, oh, that's such a big one. Putting a bass smile on my face. Putting the bass smile on my face. Oh, yeah, still a good one. My batting average is not great. That's now 3 of 8. Or my fishing batting average, that is. But the size average, now that is pretty good. Oh, geez. That's another 17-incher. What a great average. 2 17s, 1 17 and a half. Ah, thank you. Off you go. Thought. All right. I put it right where a bass would be. That's what I thought, anyway. There's another spot where a bass should be. I can see logs under the water and some big rocks. Shade. As the sun's coming up, I think. I'm not sure it's a water temperature difference as much as it is just another way to ambush from the shade to the sun, right? You can kind of hide a bit better in the shade and ambush where you can see things out in the sun. That's my theory, anyway. Especially as the day goes on, topwater, I've caught fish all year or all day long topwatering, but it seems like the shade is where they relate more. This isn't gonna be a big one, but he is a bass. Thank you, buddy. He came right out of that pine tree, hiding in the shade. I watched him. I got to see that one play out with my polarized glasses. Yeah, not too bad. It's not the 17-incher, though, that we've been catching. You're going to take my average down, bud. Yes, you are. Is this going to happen? Without being hooked? Never complain about those, even though he's a little smaller than what you want to catch on this lake. Thanks, buddy. Solid topwater bite. Right where he should have been. Right in the shade, tucked in the wood. Shallow. He was in a foot of water. Just as I was thinking about changing shorelines, got another nice bite here. Right up in the shade. In the boulders in the shade. Oh, and then he came off. Doggone you. Me. Talking to me. Mucking around with my trolling motor. I was just thinking about another shoreline to go to when that guy hit it, and that was going to be, I don't know if it was going to be 17, but it was definitely bigger than the last one. Stinker. Just as I was getting my batting average back up too, man. 4 for 9. No, I'm 4 for 10. Darn it. Batting 400 is good for baseball, but it isn't good for fishing. That means 6 fish lost to my 4 caught. That ain't that great. But it's a winner. I would use this lure more. Definitely, I think has a time and place and purpose. It's not the best casting lure because that kind of acts as a sail when it flies through the air. So it's not as accurate as I'd like it. But I like the wobble it makes in the water and good profile too. Obviously the bass like it. If I'd have caught all the bass that hit this lure today, I'd have a fantastic day. The old jitterbug. It's going in the tackle box. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez, get out of there. Oh. Oh. Yeah, bud. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was my second cast in this new spot. Got another nice one. Nicey smallie. Hanging out under the log there. Come on, big boy. I need a closer look at it before I gauge the length. But he's fighting like a good one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's kind of hard to net a fish like this by yourself. Oh. Oh, another 17 easy. Could be more. Oh, are you beautiful? Oh, yeah, you're like a tiger. Look at how beautiful that fish is. 17 and a half. Tied my other biggie. Thanks, bud. That's another episode of The Ordinary Fisherman. It was the one lure challenge. I didn't call it that until now. Bought that lure, the Jitterbug, and stuck with it all day and pulled in almost average of 17. That one 15-inch brought the average down a little bit, but 4 17-inchers, 1 15-incher, I call that a win in my book, especially when I miss so many bites. I don't know if that was just me trying to get used to the lure or the style of the lure is a little bit different. Maybe it doesn't get as good a hook sets. I don't know. I hesitate to blame the lure because I'm just new with it. I enjoyed the day though. That's Lake Vermilion bass fishing for you, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining us today. Another episode of The Ordinary Fisherman. God bless everybody and tight lines. This one looks good anyway. I'm gonna get the old, what are they calling this? Jitterbug. And what was it called again? The Jitterbug. Well, there we go. Oh. This episode's gonna be measured in bites, not in catches. Doggone it. That wasn't a good cast. That was a pretty bad cast, gotta say. Can't even blame that one on the lure. That was user error right there. Was lined up for the perfect cast, and my finger got in the way of the line. You stinker. I got into the nice pocket. I couldn't cast that again if I tried. Reward me with a fish. Oh, that should have earned me a fish. Not today. Oh, I feel like I should be pulling a bass out of here. Or 2, or 3, or 4. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, he came off. This episode would be so much better if I'd have caught all the fish.